Welcome to Brain Vision.
Okay, so I see that you need help with this question, and it says, the manager of a brokerage firm are interested in finding out if the number of new clients a broker brings into the firm affects the sales generated by the broker. They sample 12 brokers and determine the number of new clients they have enrolled in the last year and their sales amounts in thousands of dollars. These data are presented in the table that follows. So I put the table in Excel. I am using Excel to help solve for this, but please know you can use scrap piece of paper, pencil, graph paper, if you don't have Excel. I'm just strictly using it as a calculator and to show you how I'm getting the calculations that I'm getting. So the first thing, in order to find the least squares estimate slope, you need to find your sum of your X values. And so my client is going to be my X value, and my sales is going to be my Y value. And I'm going to end up doing some multiple columns here. And these are going to be in bold up here. Okay. So then I'm also going to find the sum of my Y value. Then I'm going to find the mean of my X value and the mean of my Y value. I'm going to take my sum, and I'm going to divide it by 12. And then I'm going to take my Y value and I'm going to divide it by 12. Then I'm going to take X, each one of my X values, and subtract the mean of X. Then I'm going to take each one of my Y values and minus my mean of Y. So I'm going to take each one of these X values here and subtract it by my mean of X, which is 25.083. I know that the 3 is repeating, but I'm just going to go out 3 decimal places. Then I'm going to take each one of these Y values and I'm going to subtract it by my mean of Y, which is 45.75. And I'm just going to highlight in bold my mean of X and my mean of Y because I am going to refer back to them. It's just a little bit easier to find them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my X minus my mean of X values by my Y minus my mean of Y values. So I'm going to take this number, multiply it by this number. I'm going to go all the way down that column. Then I'm going to total this column. And so this is called my sum of my products, and I'm going to refer back to that. Then I'm going to take each one of my X minus the mean of X value, and I'm going to square them. So I'm going to take each one of these values here and square them. And then I am going to add them all together. And this is called the sum of the squares of X. And I'm going to end up using these. Fold them and then I'm going to do the same thing to my Y minus my mean of Y values. I'm going to square those two. So equals that number squared. Oh, going to go down a little bit more. Then I'm going to sum them. And then I'm going to, that's going to be the sum of the squares of Y. Okay. Now to find the least squares estimate of slope, I am going to take my sum of my products and divide it by the sum of the squares of X. Okay. So that is going to be my sum of my products and divided by the sum of the squares of X. So that, oh, I just spelled that one wrong. Okay, So I'm going to highlight this just so you know that that is an answer there. And just make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to merge that. Okay. Then I'm going to, what's the next one asking? Estimate the keyword slope estimation least squares. The least squares estimate of the y-intercept. So to find the least squares y-intercept estimate. So I'm going to put those in yellow, bold, and I'm going to merge those. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mean of y and subtract my slope, which is b, and then multiply that by the mean of x. So I'm going to take my mean of y, subtract it by my slope times my mean of x. And then it says the prediction for the amount of sales, $1,000 for a person who brings in 25 new clients from the firm is so I have my equation, linear regression equation, and that is going to be, let me just bold, highlight, and merge those. It's going to be y equals 1.119x plus 17.692. I'm just rounding to 3 decimal places. 692. And I'm going to bold. And I'm going to merge it with, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to take equals and put around parentheses 1.119 times 25, and then I'm going to add 17.692. So we can say that the prediction for the amount of sales for a person who brings in 25 new clients is 45,667. And I'm going to bold and highlight yellow, and we are going to merge those cells. All right, there we go. I do above in the tables here have the other information that you were asking for. So the sum of the squares, the regression sum of the squares, and the coefficient of variation. So the coefficient determination, what you have to do is coefficient. So that's r, and then it's looking for r squared. So what you have to do is, for the coefficient determination, or the correlation coefficient, you're going to take the sum of the products, and you're going to divide that by the sum of the squares. So divide that by the square root of the sum of the squares of x times the sum of the squares of y. Oops. Okay. Then to get this r squared, the coefficient determination, you are going to square that. So that's your two answers too. Bold highlight. So I hope that this video helps answer all of your questions. This is the middle school math teacher signing out.